Have you ever stayed to watch the credits of a movie and just been blown away by how many names scroll by? You see hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, and you have to wonder, what do they all do? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole process. We're going to look at the single most important document in all of filmmaking, the blueprint.
It really all comes down to this one question, doesn't it? How does some random thought, a little flicker of an idea, turn into this massive 2-hour cinematic experience? It seems like it's got to be magic, right? But it's not. It's a process, a huge, messy, and incredibly detailed process that follows a surprisingly clear path.
And this is where it all begins. The script is the absolute foundation for everything that follows. I want you to think of it less like a storybook and more like the architectural blueprint for a skyscraper. Every single person, from the director to the person building the sets, is working off this one document to make the movie happen.
Okay, so let's start at square one, the development phase. This is the quiet part. This is where the world of the film is born, gets hammered into shape, and is planned out in painstaking detail, all long before a single camera ever gets turned on. You know, a script doesn't just show up one day fully formed. It has to evolve. It starts its life as just a single sentence, the logline. Then it grows into a treatment, which is kind of like a short story version where you figure out the tone. Then you get the first draft, where the characters finally get to talk. And after tons of rewrites, it's finally locked in as the official shooting script. And right at the heart of that whole process is the log line. This is basically Hollywood's elevator pitch. A writer has to be able to sell their entire movie in the time it takes to go up a few floors. Because, let's be real, if you can't hook someone with 1 or 2 sentences, you're probably not going to hook them with a 2-hour movie. All right, once that blueprint, the script, is solid, we move into pre-production. Now the real work begins. This is where the director and all the department heads basically take the script apart, piece by piece, to figure out exactly what they're going to need to build this thing in the real world. So the crew starts breaking down the script with a fine-tooth comb. Seriously, every prop, every costume, every single location mentioned, it all gets put on a list. And while that's happening, the director is planning the look of the film, casting is trying to find the perfect actors, and location scouts are out there searching for the real-world places that match the script. And this is where you can see the director's brain working on 2 levels at once. On one hand, you've got storyboards. That's the art. It's basically a comic book version of the movie that maps out the visual plan. And on the other hand, you've got the shot list. That's the science. It's a technical checklist for the camera crew of every single angle they need to get. And then, finally, we hit production. This is the part everybody thinks about when they imagine movie making. The energy on set is buzzing, the clock is always ticking, and that blueprint is finally actually being built right in front of your eyes. When you hear those words ring out, you know it's about to happen. And that's not just some cool movie phrase. It's a command that gets hundreds of people to focus all their energy on capturing one tiny, perfect moment. A moment they're going to do over and over and over again until it's just right. So what's a day on set actually like? Well, it's kind of like a very carefully choreographed dance. First, the director and the actors figure out the blocking. That's just where everyone's going to stand and move. Then the crew comes in and sets up all the lights and camera angles based on that blocking. And finally, after one last run-through, they roll camera and shoot the scene, getting multiple takes so the editor has options later. Now let me introduce you to one of the most important and maybe most overlooked jobs on set, the script supervisor. This person is the guardian of continuity. See, movies are almost never shot in order, so this person makes sure that if an actor is holding a coffee cup in their left hand in a wide shot, they're not suddenly holding it in their right hand in the close-up that gets filmed 3 weeks from now. They literally save movies from embarrassing mistakes. Okay, so after all the beautiful, organized chaos of the film set is over, the movie enters its final, much quieter phase. Post-production. This is where all those thousands of little puzzle pieces they shot are finally put together. You could say this is where the final rewrite of the story really happens. So, the editor's first pass is called an assembly cut. They literally just put every single scene they filmed together in the order it appeared in the script. But then the real art starts. The director joins the editor, and together they create the director's cut. They start playing with the timing, maybe they move a scene or trim a moment, all to shape the story and make it hit with the most emotional impact. So for example, imagine this line was in the script. The actor delivers it, it's powerful, it's exactly what was written. But when the director is in the editing room watching it back, they notice something in the actor's performance, something incredible that wasn't on the page. And they make a choice. They cut the line. Because they realize all the heartbreak, all the betrayal, it's already right there in the actor's eyes. Taking the words away actually makes the scene more powerful. That's the magic of post-production. It's writing, but with images and silence instead of words. And then you have the finishing touches. The color is tweaked to give the whole film a specific mood. The visual effects are dropped in, the sound designers build the entire world you hear, from footsteps to wind, and of course, the composer adds the musical score that tells your heart how to feel. So there you have it, the whole wild journey. From that one little spark of an idea, to the detailed blueprint of the script, through the controlled chaos of the shoot, and all of it sculpted down into the final cut that we get to see on the big screen. So the next time you're watching a movie, think about this blueprint. When you see a perfect camera move, a cut that gives you chills, or an actor's tiny gesture that says everything, you'll know it wasn't an accident. It was a choice, planned and executed, all starting from that document. What are you going to see now that you never noticed before?